In this video, Bitcoin is currently below this major key green resistance box. And of course, the bullish scenario is where Bitcoin breaks through here and starts to trend to the upside. I want to take a look at the bullish scenario, but I also want to give some attention to the bearish scenario because right now there are some signs in the chart that could give the bearish scenario some credibility. Let me show you exactly what I mean. I also want to show you some interesting tweets from Twitter, and I want to show you this tweet from Plan B and even this tweet from Plan B. Many different interesting charts, and if you think that that sounds interesting, then I think that you should definitely watch this video. Welcome to the moon. My name is Carl and I'm going to bring you this Bitcoin video. And before I jump into the Bitcoin price, I just want to quickly say thank you so much for 3.7 thousand likes on yesterday's video. It's completely insane to see all of you guys helping me out with so much engagement. And more people have told me that they have been unsubscribed from my videos. Make sure to click subscribe and also click this bell icon. This is the important step, however. Click all. That makes sure that you will get all of the notifications to my daily updates. Alright, so what do we have here on the daily chart? Well, just a small little quick summary of what we know. First of all, Bitcoin was forming this symmetrical triangle between this white downwards trending resistance and this upwards trending yellow line, and then Bitcoin had a breakout to the upside, and we were watching this as a potential breakout where Bitcoin could potentially go up to the triangle target of 11.2 thousand. However, something else that I was talking a lot about was the fact that we are running into this major resistance area, this 10.5k level resistance approximately, and there was a risk that Bitcoin is not going to be able to break through here, and this might be a place for a reversal. So far we did get a rejection, but we haven't seen a reversal yet. So the question remains, will we see a bigger reversal here? And another thing that I've pointed out is that we do have this bearish divergence on the daily time frame. As you can see here, we have a high and then a higher high up there, but in the RSI we have a high and a lower high. That's a bearish divergence. But I did also point out that we have a hidden bullish divergence right there, and that corresponds with these two lows right there. So that's an interesting thing, because now we have one bearish divergence and a bullish divergence basically in the same area here, and the question becomes, which one is more powerful? And I will be honest here and say that I'm not really sure exactly technically what would be the most accurate way to or how we should technically interpret this. But what I would say is that I think that the bearish divergence here is a little bit more profound, a little bit more, it's a little bit bigger, and I think that most probably this bearish divergence has more impact on the price than this smaller hidden bullish divergence. And you could even make the case that this hidden bullish divergence has kind of already played out, as we did see a pretty large pump to the upside here. But usually from a bullish divergence we do see a bigger run rather than just a small little pump like this. But if this bearish divergence plays out, then we should probably be looking for something like this, at least a bigger reversal somewhere below $8,000. That's my opinion. Usually we see this bearish and bullish divergences play out on a bigger time frame. Let me just show you one perfect example. You see here we had one low and then a lower low, and in the RSI we had the opposite. We had basically a low and a higher low. So this was a bullish divergence, and you can see how this bullish divergence was actually a sign of a bigger reversal, not just a small little pump, but an actual bigger trend change. And that's what I'm usually looking for when I see these bearish and bullish divergences, a bigger trend change. But I'm going to actually delete this white line here. I think that ever since we did see this small little fake out, or whatever we want to call it, I've actually lost interest in this white line, so I'm going to delete that. I still think that it's important to take a look at this upward trending resistance, but basically we do see this bearish divergence, and I think that there is a a risk that if Bitcoin doesn't break through this 10.5k level very soon, then in my opinion, we are most likely going to see some type of reversal. And as I've shown you before, I do believe that we have to take a really close look here at the $8.6 thousand level. If we break this previous low right there, then I believe that we're most likely going to see a larger correction. And I'm going to show you a few points that could potentially give us some support if we do see the bearish scenario play out. First of all, I think that this level right here has a lot of significance. We can see support from way back there, resistance from there, and when we broke this level right there, we did see this pretty substantial pump to the upside, right? So this level, which is the $7,720 level, is something that I would be watching if we do see a bearish scenario play out. Let's see if we can find another level. I would say that the next immediate level is right here, as we did see resistance right there and right there. Let's actually pull this down a little bit, something like this. And I would call this the $7,320 level. And if I were to put another level down here, the next major level would be right there. We've seen some support from back there and some resistance right there, as you can see, some resistance points. And it started to act as support right here. This is the $6,837 level. If we break all of these support levels, then I think that the most important level, not only because of previous price action, but because of the Fibonacci retracement tool, is down here, as I've shown you before, between 6.2 up to $6.4 thousand. The golden pocket basically is the most important level to watch by far. Because if we scroll back, Bitcoin loves to go to this specific level. For example, if we scroll out here a little bit, for everyone here who was following my videos back when we were in this big parabolic run-up, you probably remember how I was able to predict the top here with a very high degree of certainty. So basically, we were going up here in this parabolic run-up. When we were here somewhere, I was talking about how I think that the most likely scenario is that we're going to see a break to the upside. And what I said also is that a logical place for Bitcoin to reverse could be this golden pocket up here. And actually, that's exactly what happened. Of course, I didn't think that this was the only scenario that could play out, but I did say in many videos back then that I believe that this level could make sense for a reversal. And we did see a perfect touch of the golden pocket, which is right up here, as you can see. And even after here, the weeks after, I was talking about how I believe that this was probably the top, and we're probably going to see sideways action or downwards trending action. And we did see some sideways, and eventually we did see some downwards trending action. So this is a great example of how I was able to predict the top based on this Fibonacci retracement tool. And the interesting part about this, of course, is that if we take a measurement from this top down to this low, we can see that Bitcoin is right now slightly below the golden pocket, which is right here. So this is the golden pocket. I hope that this is visible. Of course, it looks a little bit cluttered now, but this is exactly the level where Bitcoin pumped up to and then got rejected from this 10.5k level. You can see that the golden pocket is here at approximately $10,300, $10,400. So if we do combine the bearish divergence with this golden pocket, then maybe we can make a very good case for the fact that the bearish scenario is starting to look more likely to play out right now. Does this mean that I'm going with a short position right now? No. I want to see some confirmation of this, because I don't think that we see a confirmation from this bearish scenario just yet. But if we do break below 8.6 thousand, for example, then in my opinion, it is very likely that we're going at least down to 7.7, but probably we should actually put a lot of attention to this golden pocket, which is down here at $6.2, $6.3 thousand. Guys, please leave your comments down below. Do you think that this bearish scenario could be playing out? Or are you bullish? And do you think that Bitcoin is going to break through this major resistance? Leave your comments down below right now. My opinion is that as long as we are below this major resistance, I think that maybe the bearish scenario has a slightly likelier chance of playing out rather than the bullish scenario. But if we do break through this resistance, then I think that the bearish scenario is not going to play out, and then the bullish scenario is actually playing out. Next up, we have this chart from Crypto. He is bullish. He sees these triangles here, and of course, I think everyone is bullish on the longer time frame. This is the monthly time frame, and there is no doubt about it that Bitcoin is in a massive bull trend on the monthly time frame. And what he's showing us here is that converging support and resistance from the first halving led to a big breakout, and the same happened for the second halving, and the same thing might happen right now with the third halving. And next up, this is a new tweet from Plan B. He says that this is the Bitcoin price priced in gold. So basically he's taking the US dollar out of the equation, and essentially we're seeing a very similar thing. Bitcoin is going up in value against gold, just as it's going up in value against the US dollar. Of course, over a longer period of time, the US dollar is not a good measurement of value because it is itself falling in value year over year over year, and it's basically volatile. And when you're measuring value, the best thing would actually be to have something with a fixed supply, which would, in theory, give us a better or less volatile price. The US dollar is always inflated. Bitcoin has actually a fixed supply, and actually absolutely fixed supply. So the theory goes, in the future, when Bitcoin has a very, very high liquidity, Bitcoin might be the best thing in the world to measure value because it's the only thing that doesn't get inflated. Even gold gets inflated every year from mining. Here is another tweet from Plan B from today. He says that greed and fear in Bitcoin markets are represented by this chart. We can see that in these green areas, this is when people are fearful, and green means buy. And when people are greedy in these red circles, this means that you should be selling because people are greedy, euphoric. And when you see euphoria in markets, that's when you know that it's time to sell. So currently we are right after the halving. The stock to flow ratio is showing us that Bitcoin should go all the way up here to $100,000. This is the time to be accumulating if you're in it for the long term. This is not the time to sell. The time to sell will come in within 2 years probably, when we see the next big blow off top. And personally, I am also going to try to take profit towards the all-time high. It will be impossible to pick the exact top. No one will be able to do it. If someone does it, it's just pure luck. But we can at least try to take profits whenever Bitcoin is very, very high, when we see a lot of euphoria. Right now, we are not seeing euphoria. Right now, we're seeing people fearful, people are a little bit in despair, people think that, or people are speculating that maybe Bitcoin is not going to go up in value after all. Even John McAfee, he revised his bullish outlook. He's now saying that everyone who believes Bitcoin is going to $1 million is a fool. And just 2 years ago, he said that Bitcoin was going to $1 million within the next 1-2 years. So we are seeing a shift. Right now, people are not very happy about the Bitcoin price because we've been going down and sideways for a couple of years now. That's not very fun. But believe me, in a few years, if you buy at these levels, you will thank yourself because these levels are extremely cheap. Just like these levels down at $10 were a perfect place to buy, and then up at $1,000 here was the perfect place to sell if you bought at $10. The same here. If you bought here at approximately $800 and sold up here at approximately $20,000, then that was also a great trade. If you buy now at approximately $10,000 and sell in a couple of years at $200,000, then obviously you made a fantastic trade. This is it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you want to help me out to trigger the algorithm, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Let's see if we can push this video to 4,000 likes. That would be completely insane, guys. Let's see if we can do that. And please leave a comment down below. That also helps the algorithm. It shows YouTube that you like this video, that this video is thought-provoking. So leave your comments down below about the bullish scenario, the bearish scenario. And by the way, I was participating in a panel. We talked about trading and some other stuff with a few other influential people in this space. You can watch this panel right there, right now, if you want to go watch it. And I will see you guys tomorrow.